A new signing, a new contract, and a couple of retirements have made for a very busy week at the football club. Join me in this video as we round up all the news from this week at Ipswich Town. Good morning, afternoon or evening, depending on whenever you are watching this. My name is Harvey Bell, an Ipswich Town supporting content creator on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, please do subscribe and leave a like on the video down below. Now we've got some transfer rumours to bring you, a new signing to talk about, a new contract for the captain to talk about, but we'll start off with this very first rumour that is Kieran McKenna potentially joining England. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this at all because, frankly, I think it's a load of rubbish. The English FA do not have the sort of money laying about that they would have to pay Ipswich Town in compensation if they were to take manager Kieran McKenna. It's not going to happen. Besides, Kieran McKenna has been successful as a manager so far, given the fact that he's been able to work with players and develop them over a long spell of time. He's not going to try and work with players that he only sees once or twice a month. It's not how he operates. It's not how he's been successful. And I can't see this happening. Maybe later in his career, but certainly not now. It is being reported by The Sun and The Sun only. I'll keep my opinions on The Sun newspaper private, but I don't think this should be believed. I think it's a load of rubbish personally, and I can't see Kieran McKenna leaving Ipswich Town for England. Let me know in the comments what you think, but this one for me is definitely a non-starter. Moving on to a departure from the club, and that is Corey Darba. The 24-year-old defender has joined Kilmarnock on a permanent basis. He was there on loan last season, massively impressed. Shame to see him go because he's a player that has been with Town for quite a while. He joined when he was 16, he's now 24. That makes for 8 years at Portman Road. He never really had an opportunity in the first team, couple of loan spells away from Portman Road at Fleetwood and Burton Albion. Always looked like somebody that was on the verge of breaking into the first team, but ultimately it never came to fruition. Wishing him all the very best in his next step. Hopefully he does very well for Kilmarnock. He seems to be very well loved there, and I wish him all the best. Moving on now to another couple of departures, but these ones aren't transfers, they're retirements. Starting off with chairman Mike O'Leary. Now, Mike O'Leary was instrumental in making sure that the takeover happened just a little bit over 3 years ago with Game Changer. Ever since then, he's been a very good consultant to Mark Ashton, somebody that's given the club great service across the last few years. And I can't imagine that for 1 second he would have thought that he would have seen 2 successive promotions in 3 years. Well, he has. He's been a massive part of it. Mike O'Leary, thank you very much for your service to Ipswich Town, and all the best as you retire to your family home in Worcestershire. Mark Ashton is now going to take over his duties. It's going to be a very busy workload for our CEO, but if there's anyone that can cope with it, it would certainly be our Mark Ashton. Somebody else that is retiring is Pat Godbold. Now, what can you say about this lady? 70 years service to the club in various different roles. She breathes Ipswich Town and is a true example of what a fan is to the club. She's worked very hard in her 70-year tenure, and I'm wishing her all the very best in retirement too. Positive news to bring you is the fact that Omari Hutchinson has returned from injury. Now, of course, he made a sensational return to the club. Club record transfer fee of just over £20 million following a terrific loan spell last season, but he has been injured so far in pre-season. He's not featured against Fortuna. He's not featured against Reading behind closed doors. He's not featured against anyone. Well, that's all about to change because he's travelled to Germany with the rest of the squad following his recovery, and he will be available for selection against Hoffenheim and Borussia Mönchengladbach across the next weekend. Very exciting. He's going to be a big player for the club this season, a massive part of Kieran McKenna's system, and it's very important that he gets some pre-season minutes under his belt. And one man that he'll be playing alongside is captain Sam Morsy. And what a terrific bit of news this is. Sam Morsy's deal was set to expire at the end of this coming season. Not anymore. It's been extended to 2026. Now, we can all get carried away in new signings coming into the club, but ultimately, you need to protect what you have. And that's exactly what Kieran McKenna and Mark Ashton have done here. Sam Morsy has been our captain now for the best part of 3 seasons. He's been very impressive in that time, instrumental to our success over the last couple of seasons, and it makes so much sense to renew his contract. Really pleased to see this one happen. Just a massive statement of intent in many ways, because it shows that we're keeping hold of our biggest assets. He's a leader, and this just creates a great sense of being settled for the rest of the squad. Really smart piece of business. Really pleased to see Sam Morsy sign a new deal, keeping him at the club until 2026. And another player signing a 2-year deal at Portman Road is Connor Townsend, a new signing to bring to Ipswich Town. He's a left back joining from West Bromwich Albion. Very exciting, really pleased by this one. I know it's created a lot of division online, some people not as excited by this, but I think it's a really smart bit of business. Not every player has to cost you 10 or 15 million pounds. Some of them can be a little bit cheaper. Of course, Townsend is going to be coming in probably as backup to Leif Davis, so it makes a lot of sense that we wouldn't necessarily push the boat out on this signing. He's played in the Premier League before, 25 appearances, 31 years of age, so brings with him a lot of experience. A real smart signing, somebody that's going to be perfectly good cover if Leif Davis is out, somebody that's going to bring a lot of wisdom to the squad, and somebody that will definitely feature in the cup games. It makes a lot of sense. I get that it's not a household name, but ultimately it's a name that's going to fit really well into the system, and somebody that could be very beneficial for us in terms of squad depth. I'm really pleased to see this signing happen. It happened all very quickly. It was first reported on Wednesday morning. By Thursday morning he was confirmed, and I'm very glad that he was. Welcome to the club, Connor Townsend. But he may not be the only signing of the week, because we have been reporting on this channel over the last couple of weeks that Szmodics is being heavily linked. We do now have an update on that potential transfer, and it is a very exciting one indeed. We were reporting that it was getting very close. It seems to have stalled a little bit, but it's said now that Szmodics is holding showdown talks with Blackburn Rovers. But what does that even mean? Well, I understand that to be the fact that Ipswich have agreed a deal with Blackburn, somewhere around £8 million for Szmodics, and now the player is trying to force the move through. Blackburn want to keep hold of the player wants to go, a fee has been agreed, and it's really getting close from what I understand. This is, of course, all according to different reports. It is all rumours for now, all of these things that I'm saying, so I'm not trying to leak any information. I'm just talking about what's already out there, but it seems very exciting. Szmodics is getting very close to joining Ipswich. There was talk that Leeds United were trying to hijack the deal, but that all seems to have passed now, and it seems like Szmodics wants to make the switch to Portman Road. His wife is pregnant, they're both from Colchester. It makes a lot of sense for them to move back down this way. Hopefully Town can get this one over the line. It looks like it's getting very near. It looks like Szmodics wants out of Blackburn, and hopefully Ipswich Town is going to be his destination. Of course, we'll keep you updated. This has been one of our big stories over the last couple of weeks. All the reports suggesting that Szmodics is getting very close to joining Ipswich Town on a permanent basis. Other transfer news to bring you includes the fact that Wilson Odobert and Jack Clark do remain linked with the club. No more new updates on those, but certainly nothing to suggest that any interest has cooled. Otherwise, quite quiet on the transfer front, but again, the transfer window does still have just about a month left, and there could be more rumours to come. Kieran McKenna has said he wants more players. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't more to come. So there it is then, just a little bit of a quick roundup of all of the news from Ipswich Town this week. Liverpool in just over 2 weeks in the Premier League. I can't believe it's come round so quickly, but certainly very exciting. That is about it from me. Let me know down in the comments what you've made of this week at Ipswich Town, any new players you'd like to see come to the club, and your predictions for both friendlies this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.